Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Door Locks. I've done cleared contract work for more than 20 years. One downside of cleared work is that there's no sneaking in late or out early, as everything is locked. A few years ago, I discovered that one upside is also that everything is locked. I was hired onto a 5-year contract, and for the first 4, everything was fine. I rode the train to work, did my required 40 hours, went home and had no problems. Into year 5, the same thing happens that always happens in contracts. People start to leave. This is not unusual, as the end of a contract holds some uncertainty, so people will find another new contract to move on to, so they don't have to worry about it. Unfortunately, the immediate effect is that the workload shifts to the people that stay, and things start to slip. Why not hire more people? Nobody wants to come onto a contract that's in its last year. Well, on this contract I stayed because I liked the customer and intended to ride out the final year shenanigans. Things started to fall behind. We were down from 15 engineers to 5, and the customer complained that the company was not meeting their contractual obligation. What did the company do to fix this? Offer hiring bonuses? Pay overtime? Make lucrative offers for people to stay? Nay. They called in their ball-busting, everybody is inherently lazy project manager to handle things. From day 1, manager tells everyone that our lack of progress by 5 people on more than 100 active projects is simply a time management issue. He threatens to pull the door locks to see who's actually at work for 8 hours a day. I figured he was bluffing, and I didn't worry. Having been on the train schedule for 4 years, I knew that every day I was in the building from 7 to 4, except for occasionally walking down the street to grab lunch. The key point here is that being a contractor, I couldn't work overtime without authorization. So for 4 years I had just put 40 hours a week on my timesheet. You may see where this is going. The fateful day comes when he actually puts the door locks, and 2 of our engineers get a talking to about their time in the building, and how claiming 40 hours without being there for 40 is fraud. I was upset by this, because everybody that was left was working very hard. The 2 guys he had confronted had been working on co-op projects at our offsite location for years. So unless he pulled those locks as well, he didn't, they would be short. So what did I do? I stopped by his office and asked what my door totals were. He told me I was fine and not to worry about it. I told him I just wanted to be sure my time in matched my timesheet, as I didn't want to get caught in timesheet fraud. Again, he said not to worry about it, so I headed down to see my buddy Tony in security, and he pulled my locks for me. Next week I walked into the manager's office, closed the door and told him I had a problem. I had put my door locks, and over the last 4 years I had averaged almost 44 hours a week in the office, but had only ever charged 40. I had almost 800 hours of unreported labor and didn't know what to do about that. He told me not to worry about it. It wasn't a big deal. Next step, I contacted our company rep and explained the situation to her. She did not think it was a big deal. In the end, I signed an NDA, but the manager got removed from his role. I bought our whole team beers and lunch, and a memo went out to the team telling us specifically to charge what we worked, even if it had some overtime. The next story is called Commissions. I used to work for a national soda company. My job was to make sure our items were always well stocked on the shelves and work the new product into stores on load days. I didn't make the orders. A different sales guy was supposed to swing by twice per week and take stock, conference with the manager about upcoming sales, etc. One thing I found out is that the sales guy could make a commission if they pushed out more than the average product count, or by getting a store to accept new inventory they previously didn't stock. This is the reason why they always order way too much stuff. Anyways, there's this one store way out in the boonies for this tiny little community. It's a 45-minute drive from the rest of the area we service. My boss only has me go there twice a week. The sales guy decides it's a waste of time to go out there and tells me to take the order. I tell him that's not my job and that I haven't been trained on the software. He tells me to just phone it to the warehouse. I know he has not run this by my boss. There's no way he would have ever signed off on this. Cue Malicious Compliance. Our total shelf space at the store is 20 feet of shelves. We have space for maybe 40 12 packs. I get on the phone with the warehouse and make my order. I order 26 pallets of product, the most that can fit in a truck. The warehouse supervisor chuckles as I do this, as he has already figured out how this will end. I get a call from the sales guy on delivery day. I shrug and was like, "What's the problem? You just made a ton of commission," and hang up. Then I get a call from my boss. He doesn't say a word other than the driver needs help moving the product back into the trailer for a buyback. I could feel his grin through the phone. The third story is called Time Tracking. My company decided to install time tracking software on everything a few years ago, but didn't make a big deal out of it. When asked, management said not to worry about it and keep doing your normal workday. Recently, time worked has become a bigger issue. HR is coming down hard on everyone I know. According to them, we are only working 50% or less of our required hours. This didn't make any sense because the work is still getting done and everyone is still online all day. Because of time being a bigger issue, I started tracking my time very carefully. I was logging over 9.5 hours of work a day, but only getting credit for maybe half of that. Cue Malicious Compliance. I tested a bunch of different scenarios and learned what is tracked and what isn't. Scheduled meetings are always tracked. So now I'm in a meeting every minute of my normal workday. And once I hit the 8-hour mark, no matter what I am doing, I drop it and quit for the day. This has started to affect how much is being done in total on a weekly basis. But I am finished with working for free. We already use timesheets and software to track projects and time spent working on specific parts of projects. This is manually entered every week, with manager review required. I have also been 100% remote for the majority of my employment, over 10 years. For this to be an issue now is definitely sending big red flags and killing any support I had from my company. I also fall under the exemption for labor laws that don't permit unpaid overtime for salaried workers, white collar, and make too much money. The last story is called 1 minute late. This happened about 4 years ago. I do construction and we start fairly early. Boss got tired of people rocking in at 6:05 or 6:03 when we start at 6. Even though he was a few minutes late more consistently than any of us was. So he said, "If you aren't standing in front of me at 6 o'clock when we start, then I'm docking 15 minutes from your time for the day." The next day, I accidentally forgot my tape measure in my car and had to walk back across the job site to grab it. I had it inside at 6:01. Boss shooed me out and told me he was serious yesterday and docked me 15 minutes. So I took all my tools off right there and sat down on a bucket. He asked why I wasn't getting to work. And I said, "I'm not getting paid until 6:15, so I'm not doing any work until 6:15. I enjoy what I do, but I don't do it for free." He tried to argue with me about it until I said, "If you are telling me to work without paying me, then that's against the law. You really wanna open the company and yourself up to that kind of risk? Maybe I'm the kind to sue, maybe I'm not. But if you keep on telling me to work after you docked my time, then we're gonna find out one way or the other." We shut up pretty quickly after that, and everyone else saw me do it and him cave, so now they weren't gonna take his crap either. Over the next few days, guys that would have been 1 or 2 minutes late just texted the boss, "Hey, sorry boss. Would have been there at 6:02 and gotten docked, so I'll see you at 6:15 and I'll get to work then." And then they sat in their cars until 6:15 and came in when their time started. So between people doing what I did or just staying in their cars instead, he lost a ton of productivity and morale. Just because he decided that losing 15 minutes of productivity per person and feeling like a big man was better than losing literally 1 or 2 minutes of productivity. Even though everyone stands around BSing and getting materials together for the day until about 6:10 anyway. After a few weeks of that, he got chewed out by his boss over the loss of productivity and how bad the doc timesheets were looking. And that they were reflecting poorly on him as a leader because we were missing deadlines over it. And it showed that he doesn't know how to manage his people. Then suddenly his little self-implemented policy was gone and we all worked like we were supposed to and caught back up fairly quickly. Worker solidarity for the win. Not one person took his crap and worked that time for free after he tried to swing his weight around on them. But obviously I was a target after that and only made it 2 more months before he had stacked up enough BS reasons to get away with firing me. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories in today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.